Have you ever had a past life regression that changed your life? I have.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
I want to share the story with you, and I want to hear from you in the comments below about a significant change that occurred with you in regards to past life regression. I often go into my own chakras and do my own personal past life look, right? And I have regressed people within my work, but I had a really tricky part that I could not sort on my own. So I went to a past life regressionist and it was fabulous. Actually, she was a hypnotist. And I said, listen, I think you can also do past life regression. Can I ask you to try this? It was fabulous. I went in because I was having a hard time learning a foreign language. My husband and I were going to adopt some of our children. We have 3 adopted kids, and they spoke another language than I. They were from a European country, and I had no knowledge of this language. And I kept trying to learn basic skills for young children, brush your teeth, time to go to bed, do you want to play outside, don't worry, all of these in their language. And I was not clicking with the tapes that I was studying. And usually I'm really good at languages, kind of good. Okay, sort of good. And I was like, what is going on there? There has to be a block. And I tried to source it on my own. I couldn't get there. Now, this was before the kids came to live with us and be with us. And we were in the beginning of the process. So I decided to go to this hypnotist that also then I said, listen, I think you can do past life regression. So let's do it. She did. She was amenable. It was fabulous. And what she helped me uncover was this lifetime where I had these very 3 same children, and it was in war-torn Europe. And I was a mother because my husband had gone off to fight, kind of the resistance experience. And I had the littlest one at home, a baby, really young. And I had to send the older ones out for food to try to, beg food on the streets. And tragically, they never came back. And it was just this really turmoil locked in experience to my soul that I had them and couldn't protect them and couldn't save them and couldn't feed them. And it was pretty dramatic when regressionist was helping me unravel it. Once that session was over, and it was a one-time session, I went back home, took some meditative moments to just kind of clear, and just really go back and, forgive myself, ask them their forgiveness on a soul level, right? Ask their forgiveness. And it felt really pretty clear. And so then I think it was like the next day I started studying the tapes again. Oh my God. Oh my God. They were so easy. The language came so fast. The accent was clear. It was really established and as part of my recall when I needed it. Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self-discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This journal is for you to document your quest for self-discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in. So fast forward, and the kids, all three kids, are with us, and and I'm definitely using their foreign language because I'm pretty versed in just the basics, right? And they thought I was so aware of what I was saying and what they were saying that they would repeat it over and over again and say, "Don't you understand, Mama? And Mama, deal with this. Mama, deal with that," in their language. But I would always be like, "I don't understand. I don't understand." And like any kid, they would talk louder. It was so funny. Or they would repeat the story. I can't imagine the frustration. But eventually, they learned both English, and they actually let go a lot of their initial language, but are dabbling in it still. I remember more than they do, but they were young. They were like 7 and 5, right? And the 5-year-old mostly baby talked anyway, because that. But what was amazing to me was, they came into our family, and we have a grocery store. So when they came in, they were hungry because they had lived a life in a children's home. I was like, you do not have to hide food in the house or be worried about scarcity of food, because I brought them in the grocery store and I said, all of this is ours. It was so funny. It was so funny. And then magically, but maybe not, I was like, God, I need help. And we went out for pizza one night, and we met this wonderful waitress. And I was like, where are you from? The accent was so thick. And it ended up she was from the same country as the children were born. And she used to teach English in her country, native country, to children. And so I was like, listen, do you want to be a babysitter for a while too? So she became our children's babysitter and taught them their songs from their history and lineage. And it was so fabulous. It was such a gift. We got a lot of support from, the community and our angels. I was constantly going, listen, I need help. And I was constantly also talking to their parents that had birthed them in my mind. I was doing a lot of interpsychic rapport communication and troubleshooting. And I still do. I still turn to their parents, their birth parents, to say, listen, you've got to help me with this. We're co-parenting here. So I do this on a psychic level all the time, right? And it's very, very, very helpful. Oh my God, it's so helpful. But the coolest thing was the past life regression, because what it did was allow me to heal up that part of motherhood that I fell short of in that lifetime, or felt I did. But I think we were struggling. As you know, if you've parented in this lifetime, it's not easy. It's not smooth. And sometimes we have to cut corners or make ends meet when there's not the resources or the support. So it's amazing how much support I have in this lifetime. And it's been really darn fabulous. So I really encourage people to get past life regression work if they know they're meant to do something and there's a wall, right? Or traditionally, I was pretty good at learning French in high school and college. College is another story. But this language I struggled with, and I thought there's a block. When there's a block, there's a block. And so being able to source my own chakras and go in and try to figure out what's happening here, and then going to spirit to say, can you help me? What's happening here? And then realizing, I need to find someone outside of myself to help take me on this journey. And I am just so grateful that I had the courage to ask for help, right? To sort that, and the willingness to kind of keep my eyes open and look at all the pieces, pieces that were up to me, but other pieces that were part of their soul trajectory and others, right? So I think that's one of the greatest gifts we could give ourselves, whether it's regression into the recesses of this life, or even exploring past lives or other moments in time that might be affecting us. And that's why I love teaching you about the chakras. I love teaching you about the soul senses so that you might be able to go into those experiences on your own. But always, always, always when you feel like maybe I could use a little help here, that you have the courage to reach out. And I think past life regression is a fabulous way to do that. So if you've had an experience with past life regression or your own, whether in your own setting or using your own skills and tools or reaching outside of yourself, or maybe you do past life regression, I'd love to know. Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to see it. Totally appreciate you. So as we move forward for where we want to be, sometimes it's really important to look back so that we can be empowered. All right. Everything, all my best to you. And thanks for tuning in. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what helped me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps, and I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues in other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.